the internet makes a very bad philosopher. Boy, does it ever. You ask people things on the internet, and they just have the dumbest answers ever. I think it's because people on the internet are mostly between the ages of like 14 and 28. Because, and then also the other ones are these old, out-of-touch people that think the best way to stop suicides is to make a billboard saying, "Suicide, don't do it." Oh, great. Genius. Fucking Einstein. That's actually going to have the opposite effect by reminding people to think about that. There's so many misguided things and naive things, and I'm going to say it again, a lot of misguided things, where it really seems like there isn't that good of a philosophical discussion on the internet. Really, it does not. I have really not been impressed at all over the past 20 years by the philosophical interactions on the internet, because there really are none. And there used to be a few, some forums and whatnot, but now everything's just people yelling at each other, and I feel like that might be kind of how things are. But I'm thinking, it's just a shame, you know? Sorry, I had someone driving really slow. I didn't know if they were staring at me or something. You know, because like these parks have the weird rules where nature is still here, but they don't want people being, I don't know. Oh gosh, there's a curfew on teenagers here. Are they gonna think I'm like 20 years younger? Whenever I search up deep philosophical questions on the internet, there's always sometimes when I find a good example of a discussion, the best examples is that there's a good smattering of different opinions, but then there's just a lot of really bizarre thoughts out there. A lot of them. And I think it doesn't help that people aren't given the skills to relate to one another, and they aren't given the skills to have a conversation. They aren't given the skills to listen either, and they aren't given the skills to talk. So I have so much yelling going on, and it's a real shame. You see it online. Social media has been one of the worst wars on the progression of thought. That's what I feel. Social media is just, it doesn't give a good situation for people to care about the other person. And anytime you ask the internet for advice, there are so many weird wackos out there from history and whatnot that have had so many weird opinions, like Freud or anyone that, gosh, it's difficult to wade through all of those wacky opinions. And it's a shame, because there's no method to really compile all of those and have those ideas fight amongst themselves. It's always the people fighting the other people, not the ideas fighting the ideas. And so people don't pit their ideas against other people's ideas. They pit their fists and their words against the other people's faces. And I'm just not impressed. I really am not, because I still find myself late at night Googling deep questions, and there's nothing on the level of like ancient texts and stuff. All this stuff on the internet, it's not even worth transmitting. It's almost like it's an insult to my Wi-Fi router to even have it going through that. Like, gosh, it's a shame. It's a real shame. Well, that's my unhappiness for how the internet does not make a good philosopher, and it's not a good place to think about philosophy either. In fact, I think it poisons it. I really think it poisons it, actually.